Not only is Virginia ranked for the first time in 7 years, but the Cavs are in first place in the ACC Coastal, a half game ahead of Pitt and Virginia Tech. The Hokies will face both of these teams here in the month, so this one is huge here tonight. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to a wet Charlottesville, Virginia, alongside Dan Orlovsky. I'm Clay Matvick. Paul Carcaterra is going to be probably needing an umbrella here tonight. You know, teams want to be playing meaningful games, Dano, in November. That's the case for both of these. But these programs really seem on solid footing.
Yeah, I mean, both these coaches have done a remarkable job of rebuilding these programs. From 2010 to 2014, Pitt had 7 head coaches. 7. That's not stable. And when I think of Western PA football, I think of smash-mouth run game, in-your-face defense. Well, enter Pat Narduzzi. He's the perfect match, and he's got them on track to their 3rd straight bowl game. And when Bronco Mendenhall came east to Virginia, they were the basement of the ACC. But he brought this unwavering vision. He's got them at 6-2, and with the win tonight, they would sit atop the Coastal Division of the ACC.
Well, Bronco has changed the culture, Kark, but to win consistently, you need big-time players, and he's got one at quarterback.
It is wet, Clay, and when you're the toughest player on the team, you're the hardest worker, and you're the best player, you can change a program, and that's exactly what Bryce Perkins has done at Virginia. So, who is this guy? He's from the state of Arizona. In high school, he broke state records for completion percentage and dreamed about playing in the Pac-12. He landed at Arizona State, but his redshirt freshman year, he broke his neck and thought he might never play football again. He's buried on the depth chart. Next stop was Arizona Western Community College, a spot where he became noticed once again for making plays with his feet and his arm. Now he's across the country at Virginia, a place he told me he never thought he'd end up, but he thinks it's the perfect fit, and he's having an absolute blast.
Well, you have an absolute blast here tonight in the rainfall. Stay as dry as you can. Virginia taking the field, taking on Pitt. These teams trying to make a statement here on this Friday night. Tomorrow's statement Saturday. Well, this is a great game to start our weekend. Kickoff is next. Look at that. Welcome back to Charlottesville and the ACC on ESPN. Coming down at buckets here at Scott Stadium. Winner controls its destiny in the ACC Coastal Division race. Both of these teams are run-based offenses, Dano, and it's going to be interesting to see how weather impacts these offenses. It's been raining since about 3 o'clock this afternoon. The track was going to be wet anyway, but it sounds like it's going to be coming down like this throughout the entire game. They've got a great drainage system put in recently, but you would think there's going to be an impact.
I mean, obviously, whoever protects the ball is going to have a huge advantage tonight.
Pitt won the toss, elected to defer, and we're underway, and there's our first muff. Joe Reed on the return for the Cavaliers. Comes across the 20-yard line, and the ball appears to be loose. Well, how about that? Right on cue. Pitt saying they have recovered. No signal yet. And Virginia's going to hold on. Now there's our early impact. Joe Reed, a terrific return man for the Cavaliers. Coughed it up once, got it back, and then nearly coughed it up again.
I mean, the big thing for all the ball carriers tonight is we always hear running backs cover it up, cross-cover in traffic. No matter if you're in traffic or not tonight, you've got to cross-cover that ball with both arms.
Now we get our first look at Bryce Perkins. He's going to start out of the gun here. Queen Creek, Arizona native. And he is terrific on his feet. He just gets hammered at the 25-yard line. What a hit. And Bryce Perkins shakes it off. Gets to his feet. DeMar Hamlin, the free safety, their best safety, came in and leveled Perkins, who over the last 8 games has expedited Bronco Mendenhall's rebuilding process with his ability to run.
Yeah, and they told us a lot about him yesterday, pointing to how impactful he's been secondary plays that he's made for this team. He's the backbone of their offense.
That's just coming down in sheets. They will run it across the 30. That's Jordan Ellis, their senior running back. And let's take a look at the impact players here tonight.
For Virginia's offense, Olamide Zaccheaus is a guy that Pitt's going to blitz you a lot. You're going to have the ball in your hands in space, make a ton of plays with it, and then Evan Butts, a tight end, they move you around so much, utilizing formations, be impactful for them. Pittsburgh defense, Idowu and Zeiss have great eye discipline.
Well, Lamont Atkins is the man down for Virginia after they picked up that first down. We'll check on Atkins when we come back. The rain lightening up a little bit while we were away at commercial. Good news for number 25, Lamont Atkins. He was able to come off the field under his own power, went to the medical tent momentarily. But now Virginia continues its opening series. First down and 10 from the 32. You can see the puddles now starting to form at the center of the field. We're going to get a flag and a false start.
False start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Now, it hasn't been a sharp start to this football game, and, you know, the conditions certainly have played a factor in that.
Well, a big thing is both teams have to handle another variable. All this weather, and then we have an injury timeout. You look towards your leaders. Who can settle us back in, get us back on track for our game plan, and kind of restart the game?
Virginia averaging 4 penalties per game, 3rd fewest in the ACC. They've got their first of the night. Now here's Bryce Perkins sprinting out to the right. Tough footing, and then he's wrapped up by Rashad Weaver, the defensive end. Pitt's leader in tackles for loss. He's got 8.5 of those on the season now.
A really aware play by Weaver. They try to block him with a back. He's just able to shed it. And he knows Bryce Perkins, especially in this weather, is going to be a primary ball carrier for Virginia's offense.
Well, it's a blitz-heavy defense, as you talked about here, Dano. So now you've got 2nd and 21. See what they do here. That's Bryce Perkins and company. Olamide Zaccheaus went in motion. They're going to run it straight ahead, maybe a couple of yards for Jordan Ellis. And now it's 3rd down and long as Amir Watts, the defensive tackle, made that stop.
A big thing for really both these offenses tonight, now that the weather is going to come into play so much, is it is going to change your game plan. And so now, even at a 3rd and 20, you have to be ultra conservative. This may even take away screens because it's very difficult to throw the ball with all the water.
Yeah, they're just probably thinking now about a safe run and changing field position with a punt. Bobbled again. It will be Perkins going to the air, and he goes to Dubois. Dubois hydroplaning to the 45-yard line. That's a first down for the Cavaliers.
Great drop by Perkins and just gathering the snap. And he must have some pretty good sized hands because to be able to throw that ball in this weather accurately, and let's not understate, Dubois with a good strong catch of the wet ball. Great conversion for Virginia.
So much for being conservative. Cease Dubois having a breakout junior season, picks up 20 on that reception. Biggest play of the game so far. Now here's Perkins pumping to the near side, rolling out to the right, and he overthrows Olamide Zaccheaus. Virginia's all-time receptions leader. He broke Billy McMullen's record last week. We got a flag down.
Offense number 79. 10-yard penalty. First down.
It's Dylan Renkensmeyer. 2nd year as the Cavs starting center with that penalty.
He's been their most consistent player all year for them, but I'll go back to the field. I mean, there's going to be some stuff that you're going to lose some of your footing as an offensive lineman because of this rain. He just grabs a little bit inside on Reynolds. Official able to see it.
Now 1st down and 20 for Virginia. Tanner Cowley, the tight end, will line up on the right side of the formation. Atkins back on the field, goes in motion, and we've got another flag.
False start. Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Gentlemen, the drainage system was redone within the last couple of years, so There's really not a ton of standing water in regards to how much it actually rained. But you watch here, these guys just can't get their footing down. And a guy like Bryce Perkins, who likes to use a real sharp plant cut, that's not going to happen right now in this first quarter. And the balls, I touched a bunch of them, they're obviously super, super slippery.
Just a challenge tonight for the skill position guys for sure. All right, play action. Perkins going to load it up, throw it deep right side. And contact in the secondary. No penalty flag this time intended for Joe Reed. But how about Felipe Motley, the cornerback? Pretty good coverage on that play for Pitt.
Motley's in great coverage. He's by himself on an island, man-to-man, and just finds the ball and gets his hand right in between Reed's arms to go up and make that catch. We're going to see this tonight. Both teams are going to be aggressive on defense, and they're going to force what quarterback is going to be able to hit some shots downfield. Great play by Motley for Pitt.
So Virginia's been forced to pass it maybe a little bit more here early on than they would otherwise want to because of the long down situations. And now on second down and a ton, they're incomplete to Tavares Kelly. Bryce Perkins, never been fond of that dual threat label, because he thinks, it minimizes his arm talent. Fact is, he's been really good at both, running and passing.
They kind of call it a quarterback, where they don't minimize it to just a dual threat. He's just a physical guy, plays as a linebacker from the quarterback spot, can throw, can pass, can break tackles, and can run, do it all. And another huge challenge, third down and long for this offense.
They've been really good on third down this year. 48%, second in the conference. Jordan Ellis will pick up a couple. And Virginia is going to come off the field. They're going to have to punt. Dwayne Hendricks, the defensive end, made that tackle. Jones also in there for Pitt. So Lester Coleman, the senior punter who's been absolutely terrific this year, comes on. This is not an easy situation for the punter or the snapper, Joe Spaziani. That name sounds familiar. It should. His dad is Frank Spaziani, current defensive coordinator at New Mexico State. Rafael Araujo Lopes watches this one bounce inside the 20. Great punt for Lester Coleman, the Martinsville, Virginia native. That's how you flip the field.
Great job of catching the ball. Great punt. Pitt starts strong on defense. Let's see what their O can do.
ESPN College Football is presented by Hulu. Watch your football games live all season long on your favorite channels. No cable required.
Trick-or-treating on the lawn here at the University of Virginia has become a tradition. It goes back to 1987. A lot of fun here on Wednesday night. There's Kenny Pickett, sophomore from New Jersey, 20-year-old. Not asked to do a ton in this offense, but he has surprised people throughout the year, including last week. He won the game with a 2-minute drive to beat Duke.
Yeah, great throw right at the end. And the biggest thing is he's really impressed people with some of his athleticism, being able to scramble and make a good amount of plays.
Quadri Olison in the backfield. We get a false start. Alex
False start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. First down.
The leader of that Pitt O-line. Look at that. He just took his aggression out before the snap.
All right, both O-lines. Let's settle in a little bit. Offensive linemen love rain games. They know that they're going to have a better understanding of where they're going. The defensive line doesn't, so we can see a little bit of excitement for those O-linemen right now because of this rain.
Fourth penalty of the game already. And first play from scrimmage for Pitt going nowhere. Charles Snowden, the outside linebacker, and Mandy Alonso combining on that stop.
Clay, this Virginia run defense is very good. Part of the reason is Snowden has been so impactful on the edge. Now, Pitt didn't even block him right there, but he's got this great length, 6'7", can extend his arms against tackles. I expect him to have a very big evening tonight.
So second down and 16 for Pickett. Fake the toss to Olison, rolling out. Pickett will dump it off short. And this is here on Matthews. Good run after the catch. He's to the 40 and down to the 42. Aaron Matthews, the junior receiver, who had a really good game at Notre Dame with a big play here of 31 yards.
Yeah, Pitt cuts down their formation to a bunch of tight splits, fake toss, a bootlegging to get Matthews coming across the line of scrimmage and the ball. And that's going to have to be a big part of what they do tonight. Some run game, some play action, easy throws for Kenny Pickett. Keep this offense moving forward.
Passing offense ranks 13th in the ACC, 146 yards per game. That's not what they do. It's certainly the run game, but that's a big play. And now Pickett on the jet sweep to Malik Carter. Carter is cut down in the backfield. Malik Carter, the true freshman who came out of nowhere last week to have a big day for Pitt, but on this play, Virginia was ready as we take a look at the impact player.
Yeah, for Pitt's offense, I'm going to throw you a fullback out there, George Aston. They move him around a ton, shifts, motions, formations. A lot of their runs are going to start his way. French, you're going to get the ball in space a ton. This is a very sound Virginia defense. Be efficient. And then Chris Peace and Snowden, the two outside linebackers, a blend of pass, drop, rush, both got to be great tonight for Virginia.
Olison lining up as a receiver to the top of your screen, coming down the middle of the field. Incomplete as Pickett's pass. That'll be third down and long.
It's actually the right call, or the great call, because Virginia brings a corner blitz, and you love throwing screens into blitzes for displacement. Just a little bit of a short throw, and Snowden got some pressure there against that screen versus Pickett. And here comes Virginia, Clay. This third and long. They're going to have three guys on each side of the center. Unique blitz packages. Who's going to come? Pitt center Jimmy Morrissey's got to be great with communication.
Pickett meets the 49-yard line of Virginia, and it's going to be close. Catch made by Taysir Mack, the Indiana transfer, and it's going to depend on the spot whether Pitt's able to keep the drive alive.
Well, it starts with the center communicating who they're going to block. And then Olison stepping up, picking up the blitzer. Kenny Pickett standing strong against the pressure. And how about the young quarterback? Starting off with a big third down conversion against Virginia's pressure. Excuse me, now into fourth and short, giving this Pitt offense an opportunity to go for it.
Yeah, they're tackled by Tim Harris, the cornerback. Stopping Mack just short. And I think Pitt's going to call a timeout. John Watson, the offensive coordinator.
First charge timeout of the half.
Let's talk about the next move here. A 4th and 1 coming up for Pitt on the opening series. Tomorrow's Statement Saturday. We start in the Big Ten with number 14 Penn State at the Big House to take on number 5 Michigan at 3:45. Then it's number 4 Notre Dame and Northwestern at 7:15 Eastern. Well, what should Pitt do here, Dano? It's 4th down and 1 at midfield.
I'd punt the ball. Virginia's fantastic in short yardage and 4th down situations, and understand the weather.
Well, they decide to run it with Kenny Pickett straight ahead on the quarterback keeper, and they've got the first down. So Pat Narduzzi decides not to play the field position game. He goes for it on 4th down and 1 and gets it.
It's kind of why he fits Pitt. You know, tough-nosed. Run right behind their really good center, Jimmy Morrissey. He gets great push. Kenny Pickett follows. And give Pat Narduzzi credit. Goes for it, and his team answers the bell.
You know, probably helped, too, that the rain has died off considerably from about 15 minutes ago when Virginia had the ball for the first time. That probably factored into the decision. And this field is draining very well, as Clark talked about in his report. This is Malik Carter on that jet sweep. Boy, Carter is an interesting story, Dano. The true freshman. It came out of nowhere last week. Well, the secret is out now. He was wearing number 19 last week. He's an 83 tonight. But he was on the scout team a week ago.
Yeah, a little trickery, right, with the number. It's an example of how the the redshirt rule comes into play because Malik Carter's a true freshman who they can utilize in some games. 4 games they can play him in and not burn his red shirt, so Pitt taking advantage of it, and he's a special athlete.
Defensive back by Trey. Using him a lot on offense. And now here's Darrin Hall getting his first carry, and it's a good one. Inside the 20, goodbye, touchdown, Darrin Hall. The senior from Youngstown, Ohio, with a burst to the end zone. 41 yards, and Pitt makes that 4th down decision pay off. They're on the board first.
You know, their coach trusts them. We're going for it on 4th down. They get it. They get into their big power formation, run behind their fullback. Huge touchdown for Pitt to jump up early in the rain game right now against Virginia.
Now here comes Alex Kessman on for the extra point. Nothing will be routine in the special teams game here tonight. And Virginia may have been offside. They bring it back to the 33-yard line. But it sure looked like Virginia was in the neutral zone before that snap. Juan Thornhill, number 21 for Virginia, blocked it. But yeah, this is coming back.
I got a feeling that Thornhill had a pretty good jump on that snap right there. I'll tell you one thing though, George Aston for Pitt, I know there's going to be a penalty. He's the guy who chases down Harris for Virginia.
George Aston.
There are 2 fouls on the play.
Speed.
Illegal forward pass by number 21 of the defense. That penalty's declined. Offside by the defense. That penalty is accepted. Penalty is half the distance. Replay the try.
I want to know, maybe
3-1 on the illegal forward pass.
they're coming off of a 4th down conversion. I wonder if Pat Narduzzi and Sean Watson, their offensive coordinator, are talking about going it. Now you've gained a yard.
Well, they're keeping the kicking team out there. And Alex Kessman has been very good.
The try will be retried.
Especially in field goals this year. Jake Scarton, redshirt freshman, is doing the holding as the officials are still talking about something. Again, nothing will be routine here tonight in the kicking game. Cal Adamitis, sophomore from Pittsburgh, on the snap. They got it down, kick is up, and it is good, and it is 7-0 Pitt. 8 plays, 84 yards, and it's Hall bursting for 41 yards and a touchdown. Panthers drawing first blood here in Charlottesville. Well, Pat Narduzzi's Pitt Panthers taking the early lead. It's a 4-4 team for Narduzzi. These Panthers probably better than the record indicates. Virginia's their 5th opponent, currently ranked in the college football playoff top 25. Kessman, short kick to the middle of the field. From the 5, it's Joe Reed. Dangerous return man. And he gets across the 40 to the 42-yard line. And another marker down on the field. A lot of penalties here so far.
After the play, personal foul, number 36, unnecessary roughness. 15-yard penalty will be added on to the end of the run. Virginia ball, first down.
Let's go back to the touchdown.
Well, Kerrigan's going to be our tight end at the top of the screen. He's going to feel Chris Peace, the defensive end, release inside. So he's going to go up to Tim Harris, the corner for Virginia. Aston's going to pick up Chris Peace, and that's the block that's going to spring Darrin Hall for the big touchdown. Just great little details by both Kerrigan and Espn get Pitt on the board.
After the unsportsmanlike penalty, great field position for Virginia to start their second series. And here's Perkins looking right, throwing that way, man wide open. Touchdown Cavaliers. Terrell Jana, just his 4th catch of the year. And the sophomore from Vancouver gets the Cavaliers on the board for the first time.
Yeah, we see the top of the screen where Jana is, but this is what happens when you have a great player like Zacchaeus. Dane Jackson pays attention to him in the slot. Great job by Perkins seeing it. Big touchdown for Virginia to answer.
Brian Delaney with the extra point. And a great answer for Virginia. Tied at 7, we step aside for 30 seconds. Virginia had 3 penalties and just 20 yards of offense on its opening drive. Second drive, 1 play into the end zone. Perkins to Jana. 16th touchdown pass of the year for Bryce.
Pretty good, huh? I mean, I was going to say, why are you, if you're Virginia, why are you coming out throwing it? Well, you must know something. I loved how they utilized Zacchaeus there. And, you know, Bryce Perkins continues to make plays for the Virginia offense, and just a really good answer by Virginia against that Pitt power run game.
Delaney, the kick to Maurice French. He'll take it from the 1-yard line. One of the top returnmen in the country, Maurice French for Pitt. And he stopped short of the 30. And we've got more laundry on the field. See what the penalty's about first here. Well, it's been a busy night for Riley Johnson and his crew.
After the play, personal foul, number 25, kicking team, unnecessary roughness. 15-yard penalty added to the underline. First down.
Already the 7th penalty combined for these two here tonight.
To this touchdown, Zacchaeus, who's the all-time reception leader at Virginia, is in the slot. Dane Jackson, the corner, too much eyes on him, biting up. The safety doesn't have time to get over the top. And Bryce Perkins sees Jana streaking down the sideline. So you can use your players like that to get defenders' attentions. Great design by Virginia, execution by Perkins.
Perkins and Zacchaeus, they make up 92% of Virginia's total offense. I can understand why they were using him as a decoy. And now we've got another flag as Juan Thornhill comes in, number 21. He's been active tonight. He hit Ellis behind the line of scrimmage.
Hands to the face, defense.
Another unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. It's 91, Mandy Alonso.
Yeah, that's hands to the face. I mean, he's right up under Jimmy Morrissey's face mask, and he finishes it. Both teams, settle down. Let's get some veteran leadership. This is a huge game for both of us. Let's play. Who can make the most plays, not the most silly penalties. I want to see some great veteran leadership by both teams.
The Virginia defensive front has been solid. They don't have a lot of depth up there, but Alonso with that unsportsmanlike penalty gives Pitt great field position. Inside the 40, Joey Blunt with a nice tackle. Bring up 2nd down and 9. Joey Blunt, just a sophomore. Reminds some of Quinn Blanning, who was here up until last year, the Cavaliers' all-time leading tackler. The linebackers in secondary for this unit have been terrific this season.
I mean, the secondary's played a ton of snaps together, very smart. The linebackers run great. And I've watched a lot of tape on Pitt. Olison doesn't get tackled to the open field by safeties much. Great play by Blunt.
2nd down, we'll call it 8. Pickett, quick release. And the pass is caught by Will Bragg, the tight end. Grad transfer from Arkansas. Immediately wrapped up by Thornhill. It'll be 3rd down and 5. And as Virginia defense on third down. It's been pretty good this year.
Yeah, they just have such a great blitz package, and they present things that look the same. 3 really guys on each side of the center. They could bring an overload one side, one guy off each edge. So it stresses everybody on your offense to communicate, figure out who the blitzer is, and then execute it.
Pressure picked up. Throw incomplete. Well covered by Joey Blunt, and yet another
Before
play.
the snap, false start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty, third down.
And that's the second time Alex Buchser has been flagged for Pitt.
Yeah, they fire both inside linebackers at this Pitt offensive line, and Buchser just a flinch because he knows the pressure's coming. He knows this is what Virginia wants to do, so now you extend it to 3rd and 10. I expect to see more pressure from Virginia. Kenny Pickett, have an answer to get the ball out of your hands and get a completion.
Pickett rushed, dumped at the 46-yard line. First sack of the night for the Virginia defense. And it's Eli Handback, the nose tackle.
Yeah, just a great spin move, and it really is from confusion. Who's coming from where? The Pitt offensive line isn't able to pass it all off, and that's how they get a free runner. And not a good sack there by Kenny Pickett because you are in fringe field goal range. Get the ball out of your hands.
Chuck Davis back to return. How about that punt from Christodoulou? That's going to be a touchback. Great effort by Kirk Christodoulou, the redshirt freshman from Australia, trying to pin Virginia inside the 5, but it's going to come out to the 20. Well, you can stream college football all season long on ESPN Plus. Start your free trial tonight by downloading the ESPN app or visiting ESPNplus.com.
My wife is using the ESPN Plus app tonight. She's got a friend whose, I think, little cousin plays football. Let's say maybe Maine or something, plays quarterback.
So he's not so little.
I'm old.
Oh, it's a great app. Clay Matvick, Dan Orlovsky, Paul Carcaterra here in soggy Charlottesville, Virginia, with a lot on the line tonight in the ACC Coastal. Here's Perkins dumping it out short to Tanner Cowley. The tight end gets a nice screen. Busts loose inside Pitt territory. Finally brought down by DeMar Hamlin near the 40-yard line of the Panthers.
This is something Virginia does a ton. They move Cowley out, and then at the snap, he hesitates, steps down towards the ball like he's going to be part of the run, leaks out, and just like as Pitt and their offense, this needs to be a big part of who Virginia's going to be tonight. I just love the hesitation by Cowley. Quick little 3 or 4 yard throw turns into a huge gain for their offense.
Getting a lot of different guys involved. That's only the 4th catch for Cowley, but it's a big one. Now here's the jet sweep to their main man, Zacchaeus, but he is stretched out to the sideline, and it'll be a loss of a couple as flags fly. Man, they got to get these penalties under control. There's only so much you can attribute to the weather.
Illegal formation, 5 men in the backfield. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Clay, you mentioned earlier Bryce Perkins doesn't like the tag of being a dual threat quarterback. Well, he told me yesterday, and let me tell you, he's a wonderful, wonderful kid, well-spoken, and broke down his position as a quarterback. He said in high school in Arizona, everyone thought he was dual threat. He worked every single summer with quarterback coaches, breaking down film, looking at his flaws, and one thing that he really worked on the last couple of years, the deep ball. We saw it in that first touchdown for UVA. Kid can pass.
Yeah, he's got a 63% completion rate, Cart, coming into the game here tonight, and he's on the screws again, this time to Hassis DeVois. And get it to the 39-yard line. But Perkins now 4 of 6 passing, already over 100 yards throwing the football with a touchdown.
And a lot of it has been kind of distribution, which is what their offense is. They really want to just stress you horizontally and just pick you apart in the short passing game. It's a big thing for them, and so many offenses, but a big thing for them. They go by the numbers. So if they're good on first down, 4 yards on first down, run or pass, they feel it's going to make them as successful as an offense as they can be.
Now it's 2nd down and 9 for the Cavaliers. And Zacchaeus in motion again. They run it right up the middle, and Jordan Ellis has nowhere to go. Over 700 yards and 7 touchdowns this year for Ellis. Before Perkins got here, Ellis was really the Virginia running game. Now he's got some help. Didn't have a lot of real estate that time, so it's 3rd down and 8.
Yeah, and so just as much as Virginia on defense loves the pressure, I mean, Pat Narduzzi wants to come after you all game long. And that's what they're going to do to Bryce Perkins on 3rd down, is blitz you, see if you have a plan, and go after you. And the big thing for them, stay in your rush lanes. Against an athlete like this, stay in your rush lane.
They go inside to Ellis again, and we may have another fumble. Yeah, the ball is loose. Virginia get it back. They had 1 fumble on the opening kickoff here tonight, but were able to recover. And Evan Butts does recover that loose football to keep it for Virginia. It's been a rainy start to this football game. An exciting start between Pittsburgh and Virginia. Tied at 7 after 15 minutes. A big one in the ACC Coastal tonight. Here you see the first quarter statistics. We've seen a couple of fumbles tonight on this wet evening. Both recovered by Virginia, so no turnovers yet. Virginia keeping the offense out there, Dan, on 4th down and 4 from the Pitt 34.
Aggressive move, but trust your team.
Perkins has been trusting his tight ends this year. It's Evan Butts turning it over. He didn't catch it. Butts didn't catch it, I don't think.
It doesn't
matter
right?
anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if
you have to see that replay, it's not going to matter. It's going to be a matter of a couple of yards. But Evan Butts looked like he was going to have enough for the first down.
It almost looks like it gets ripped right from him. Dane Jackson, the corner that had kind of got beat in a way on that first touchdown pass, rips it right out of his arms. Great play to come back for Dane Jackson.
That's what Jackson is a playmaking corner. Had a fumble return touchdown against Syracuse earlier this year. Now the jet sweep. Here's Malik Carter again. Gets across the 35 to the 36, and more penalty flags. Bryce Hall on that tackle for Virginia. We'll see what this flag's about.
Holding. Offense number 84. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Now penalties and turnovers have been a problem for Pitt this year. They're averaging about 7 penalties per game. Only Florida State has more in the conference.
And for an offense that wants to be efficient on first down, Kerrigan just loses leverage on Snowden and tries to reach to regain his block. Well, really, right now, which team is going to do the little things better? No penalties, no turnovers. Be good on first down, convert some 3rd downs, which is the case for any football game, but it's going to get magnified because of the weather.
By the way, that was ruled a 3-yard completion to the tight end and then a fumble. So we have had our first turnover of the night, and Darrin Hall on that run for Pitt. He averages about 6 yards per carry. He gets 13 there.
Har's a physical runner, man. Aston coming underneath the Virginia defender, and man follows Aston. You take an extra guy out of the box. And Darrin Hall coming downhill against the Virginia defense is something Pitt wants to do a lot tonight.
A busy fall for Darrin Hall. Busier than usual. He became a father in August. Carter goes in motion. Now Pickett calls him back. Pickett, hand off to Hall. And that's going to be a first down run for Darrin Hall.
Gentlemen, this is Pitt's 5th rain game, and you look at a guy like Hall in terms of just his traction and his footing. Just my observations from field level, it looks like the track in terms of the plant foot of the Pitt players advantageous compared to Virginia. I mean, obviously they've played here in the rain before, and it's showing. Muck.
That game, but they have played in these kind of conditions before this year. Pickett pressure to the near side, and he throws it incomplete. That was George Aston, the fullback, the intended target, a very good receiving fullback, but now I got a man slow to get up for Virginia, and that's Thornhill. He's limping around a bit.
You know, back to Clay's point with the surface and cleats. As a player, when you would play in bad weather, it was always an emphasis. Go out pregame, check your cleats. If we need to put a cleat extension, you know, they've got half-inch, 3/4 inch, full inches. You'd use screw-ins instead of molded. So all those little things, what team actually went through that process and took care of that is going to reap the benefits of it.
Toss, Carter, nice cut in the wet conditions, but Virginia's able to hem him in the backfield. Zane Zandier, the Pittsburgh native, product of Thomas Jefferson High School in Pittsburgh, makes the tackle for Virginia. So now 3rd down and fairly long here for Pitt. And this crowd, smaller than maybe they had hoped because of the weather, but they've been animated. And how about that Virginia sideline? Always animated.
That's a big part of this program, and we'll get into that, how important it is and who can be on there and what. But as we get into this 3rd down with Virginia, they've got 5 guys across the line of scrimmage. This offensive line, every one guy is standing up. Who's going to be the blitzer?
Pickett being chased by Snowden, and he is caught. Charles Snowden got him from behind. There's that 6'7" linebacker. 2nd sack for the Cavaliers tonight.
I can't tell you how much I like this kid. Comes from all the way on the other side of the line. Great length in his pursuit. This kid, Snowden, is going to be a big-time football player for the next 2 years at Virginia.
Some people talking around here that he's got professional football future out there for him. Christodoulou punts it to the 11-yard line. Another good kick for the Australian. And this is Chuck Davis getting loose to the far sideline, but he's not going to go very far. Brought down at the 16. Virginia gets it back, facing a long field, tied at 7. Pitt and Virginia are honoring the victims of last week's Pittsburgh Tree of Life Synagogue shooting. Pitt has added the phrase "Pittsburgh strong" to the helmets, and Virginia handing out "We stand with Pittsburgh" stickers before tonight's game. And tomorrow it'll be 1 week since the tragedy. We know people are still healing in Pittsburgh. It'll take a long time for that too. And we just want to know we're with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awful, tragic, awful situation.
Great job by both these programs, both these schools and communities supporting.
We're starting field position of the game for Virginia. Field position has been great the last few games for the Cavaliers to start drives. This is Perkins ad-libbing and getting to the 21.
Well, one of the things that makes Perkins special is he can take a play that's going to be a 5 or 6 yard loss and turn it into a 5 or 6 yard gain. I mean, that is a 10-yard change difference right there, just because Bryce Perkins is a special player. Instead of 2nd and 15, we're looking at 2nd and 5 as an offense. Great play by Perkins.
By the way, the last 3 games for Virginia, they've started drives on average at their own 38. And this is Jordan Ellis. He'll get a couple. So 3rd down and manageable for Robert Anae's offense. The offensive coordinator for the Cavaliers moving down to the field for the Miami game, and since he has done that, they have won 3 straight.
I love their offense. I mean, his big thing, he doesn't want to allow the defense to crack the code. Don't be predictable. Constant formation, personnel, split change, and he keeps them ahead of what the defense can scout on them. Now on this 3rd and short, I expect them to totally utilize the run game with Bryce Perkins.
2 tight ends. Joe Reed going out into the flat. Perkins will run it himself on the draw play. He's got a first down to the 29-yard line. That is the dynamic that Bronco Mendenhall wanted to bring to Charlottesville. And the guy they call the quarterback of this offense gets the first down.
Well, it goes back to some of the formations and motions that Anai likes to do to not allow that defense to crack the code. They're like a chameleon and constantly changing. And Perkins really reads that. He wanted to throw the ball to the tight end on a little stick. The defender covers the tight end. You leave space. I'm taking off. Perkins impacting for Virginia.
How about that pirouette by Perkins in the backfield as he catches Zacchaeus running by for the positive gain.
You know, we're seeing Perkins make plays with his feet and his arm. And Robert and I said something yesterday I think was very fitting. Let's major in something we're good at, not force feed. And I think they've simplified things for Bryce Perkins, and he's flourishing in this role as a quarterback because coaches know how to adjust and don't force a system on him.
Yeah, simplifying doesn't mean dumbing down either, right? Simplifying means, okay, you're great at this. We're going to major in that, like you said. Great coaching.
Give it to Jordan Ellis, and he'll sneak across the 35 to the 36. And we got more flags. It seemed like we were due for another one. It had been a while, like 5 minutes.
That's a big deal that Clark's talking about with the simplifying of the offense. They're not.
There's no foul on the play. 3rd down.
Yahoo.
And they're not saying that Bryce Perkins is incapable of operating stuff, but there's a system. They're morphing their system to fit him, and he's so good at some certain things. Well, let's just continue to do that stuff with this special athlete. Here again's another 3rd and short. They ran him last time. Don't be surprised if there's some type of movement or utilizing him with some zone read run game wise.
So here's their 3rd down and 3. The Cavs 2 for 4 tonight on 3rd down. And now Virginia calls a timeout.
Timeout, Virginia.
Cavs talking here with 8:24 to go before halftime. There is a heartwarming tradition here at the University of Virginia called Thursday's Heroes. Each week, the football team hosts a child facing a medical challenge, and this week's child, Tyler Shannon, who suffers from a form of cancer that attacks his eyes.
We wanted to get you your very own jersey and make you an honorary member of Team Kick.
We also got you exclusive football signed by the whole team.
Obviously, you know, being a hero, you have to get the places fast, quick, right, and in style. So we got you. We got you a little gift.
And since you're a ringmaster today, we got you a hat and key. But that's not it. We got someone from the movie to say something to you.
Tyler, hey brother, you're an absolute legend. I just wanted to say hello. It's Hugh Jackman here. And remember, life is what you choose to make it, buddy. And you're making it fantastic for everyone around you. So just keep doing what you're doing. Go crush it. You're Thursday's hero.
How about that? His favorite movie is The Greatest Showman, and the show that this university, this program put on for that young man, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a father, and as an athlete, spent a ton of time in children's hospitals or spending time with kids that had to fight some stuff, man. And the fact that Virginia does that is so incredible for the kids, and also teaching their student athletes their platform and how impressive they can be on these kids. Great job, Virginia.
Virginia got the first down by Perkins out of the timeout. Now he's looking to throw, dancing out of the pocket. Trying to get out of a sack. Can't. They wrapped him up in the backfield and brought him down.
You know, gentlemen, at the end of the season, I won't remember that sack. I'll remember coming down to Charlottesville and Thursday's heroes. It's inspiring. It's the power of sports. It puts everything in perspective. Thursday's heroes, for me, captures the essence of lifting others up and what they do every Thursday with kids with medical conditions and learning disabilities. Touches our heart, Dan. We're fathers. I have a father. I'm a father of a kid with special needs, and they've done it for kids with similar conditions to my son Grayson, and it's awesome.
It really is. And we've seen a lot of football programs around the country do similar gestures. We were at West Virginia earlier this season. Iowa is doing a great thing with the wave to the Children's Hospital. It's just terrific that they're learning and that they're showing that there is more to just college football than the game on Friday or Saturday.
No doubt.
It's being a bigger, larger part of the community.
Yeah, and I was a kid. I was a college kid and an athlete myself, and I wasn't even aware in that moment how impactful that time you spend with those kids is. And as I'm older, you realize, wow, what a blessing it is to share some of that time with those kids for both parties.
Tip of the hat to Virginia for what they're doing. There's Perkins getting it in the hands of Tavares Kelly out to midfield. And it's going to be 4th down for the Cavaliers. That's a 13-yard pickup.
But here's why that play matters. It's not a first down, no. But it's Bryce Perkins showing Pat Narduzzi and Randy Bates, the defensive coordinator for Pitt, I've got an answer for your blitz. Pitt all-out blitzed Perkins. He got the ball out of his hands for completion. And now Pitt might be a little bit hesitant to pressure next 3rd down.
And now a chance for Virginia to flip the field again here. Coleman and a 52-yard punt earlier in this game. There's a little rugby-style line drive number this time. And what a job by Coleman. Lester Coleman with a 49-yard punt. And Tyler Shannon loves it. Pitt backed up to the 1 when we come back. You're watching college football on ESPN, presented by Hulu. Pitt backed up to its own 1 after another great punt by Lester Coleman of Virginia. And Kenny Pickett, the quarterback for the Panthers, lunges ahead to get a little breathing room off that goal line. You talked about it, Dan. Field position so big here tonight.
Yeah, and Virginia's winning that battle right now, right? I mean, Pitt has certainly been backed up a good amount for their drives, now starting at the 1. For a defense that plays very fundamentally sound in Virginia, you're forcing an offense to go 99 yards against you and almost have to play perfect ball. That's why that field possession is so important.
Stan Orlovsky on climactic. Paul Carcaterra down on the sidelines, grateful that the rain has stopped. So are these fans. They're into this play here. 2nd down and 9. Pickett from the end zone. Goes to the far side for Shockey Jacques-Louis, the true freshman from Fort Myers. He'll go out of bounds, pushed that way by Bryce Hall, the excellent cornerback for the Cavaliers. And so now 3rd down and 4 coming up for Pitt.
Yeah, really good job of getting themselves into 3rd and 4. The crowd is in its sidelines going crazy. You know, on 3rd down, don't be surprised. They like on 3rd and short to find Arujo Lopes. They're going to put him to the field. And if you're going to play zone, Kenny Pickett's going to try to get the ball to Arujo Lopes against your zone.
Yeah, he's number 82 in the slot for Pitt. Virginia brings pressure off the edge. Pickett steps up and lowers his head very close to the line to get for the 1st down. Joey Blunt's going to be credited with the tackle. Pitt thinks they got it. If they did, it'll be their first 3rd down conversion tonight. They may have to measure to prove they did get it.
Virginia blows out of there and plays zone. Kenny Pickett looked to try to get a completion. I loved how quickly he got into the run. And that's going to at least get a measurement for Pitt's offense.
Did not get it.
And I mentioned before how fundamentally sound Virginia's defense is. When you get a ball carrier open in space, I always hear coaches talk about vice a runner, meaning you've got a defender on each side. You don't go shoot at him. You vice him, squeeze him in. That's what those two Virginia defenders do, and that keeps that ball short 6 inches. You got to imagine punting here for Pat Narduzzi. You're not going to give Virginia's offense a short field. I'd imagine you let the clock run down. This is Pat Narduzzi. He's Pitt. He's tough.
Well, remember, they went for it on 4th down and 1 and picked it up, and then they ended up scoring a touchdown on that opening series.
Looks like you might have an opening on the left side behind Hargrove.
Kenny Pickett plunging ahead, and Pitt is able to move the chains again on 4th down.
I thought Pat Narduzzi really exemplified the city of Pittsburgh. Tough, hard-nosed, confident. But that's some good onions by Narduzzi for this Pitt offense going for it there. And you know, that could be a huge moment for this team to have a coach believe in you that much and a young quarterback getting it for you.
That was very delicate of you. I like that.
Rafferty.
Pat Narduzzi. His 4th year. Darrin Hall, a lot of room that time. Pat Narduzzi, 52 years old. Worked for Mark D'Antonio for 11 years at Cincinnati, Michigan State. Really hit the ground running at Pitt. Had a couple of 8-win seasons right out of the gate. A little disappointing last year with the 5-7 season. But like I said, with a win here tonight, they can control their own destiny in the ACC Coastal.
How awesome was he last night? You know, he's got a great start here, 15-16. He's got this. This is a better team than 4-4. They've lost to UCF, Notre Dame, and Penn State. And they're putting Virginia to the test.
That pass is caught by George Aston, the fullback. He's going to try and muscle his way toward the 20-yard line. Pushed out of bounds again by Bryce Hall, who is one of the better defensive backs in the country, leading the country in passes defended. And it's going to be 3rd down and 5 coming up here for Pitt.
Yeah, so last time Virginia blows out of there and plays zone, and it works. If I'm the play call for Pitt, I'm not thinking Virginia, who loves to blitz me, is going to do it 2 times in a row. So make sure I've got a blitz answer, and then I'll go back to Arujo Lopes in that slot. Big option.
Pickett feeling the heat. Incomplete. How about that Virginia defense intended for Hall? Mandy Alonso getting the pressure, knocking Pickett down to the turf. And the Panthers will have to punt. And here's where that field position comes into play again.
Yeah, because even though you give up the 1st down, they're still punting inside their 20. Watch the corner at the top. Bryce Hall pressed. Got to alert the quarterback. Here comes the pressure. Alonso with a little inside pressure. Pickett tries to escape, and Bryce Hall, the cornerback blitz, waiting right there. Virginia's not going to sit back and let Kenny Pickett stay in the pocket.
Kirk Christodoulou, another product of Pro Kick Australia, bangs it to the 35. It's Tavares Kelly on the return for Virginia, and he is hammered at the 43-yard line. A 47-yard punt. Virginia's got the football back with good field position late in this 1st half in a tie game.
Chris Cotter in studio. Halftime coming up in just a little bit. Joey Galloway, Jesse Palmer will join me. The revenge tour for the Wolverines continues. Last year, Penn State put it on them. Let's see what Michigan can do on Saturday on ESPN. And Wazoo and rarefied air. Cougars, how will they react to being the favorite in the Pac-12? We'll talk about that and a whole lot more coming up in the half. Clay?
All right, Chris, we'll see you in a little bit. Yeah, big day tomorrow, Statement Saturday. All starts with game day tomorrow in Baton Rouge. Here's Perkins on 1st down with not a lot of time on the clock, hitting Olamide Zaccheaus. And they get it out close to midfield. What's the approach here with a minute to go?
Yeah, you're aggressive. You got plenty of time, 2 timeouts. The biggest thing Bryce Perkins just did right there. Get a completion, get it started, then you get into your 2-minute rhythm.
line keeping Perkins clean. He hits his receiver. There's Jana again, who had the touchdown for Virginia. And he'll tiptoe out of bounds. Inside the 40-yard line, Hamlin escorting him out.
So now you're moving towards field goal range. Biggest thing for Bryce Perkins, no sacks, no 1-yard completions either. Time over yardage right now for your offense.
Virginia needs to get inside that 30-yard line to feel real good about Delaney's chances. He's got a long of 46 this year. 3 receivers to the field. Perkins standing tall, now pushed out. Throwing downfield, has a man caught at the 21-yard line. That was Jana. Boy, number 84 has been busy tonight. That's a pickup of 18.
Just a great reactionary play. He sees Perkins leave the pocket, make sure he gives him an option, and then on the sideline, secure the catch, get down. And these receivers, you have to be aware of that with a guy like Perkins, right? He's going to leave the pocket some. Good play, Jana.
He's got 3 catches for 71 yards and a touchdown. Perkins now in trouble, and he's going to wisely throw it away. That'll stop the clock with 15 ticks before halftime. And Virginia still has its 2 timeouts remaining. Pitt has 2 as well.
So we're 15 seconds. You've got 2 timeouts, but points. Right now, points are paramount in this ball game. So Bryce Perkins, you can utilize the whole field. Still just run this play like there's the time on the clock does not matter. The big thing, number 1, no sack.
Already within Brian Delaney field goal range. Comes pressure. Perkins pumps. Now he's in trouble. There's that sack he wasn't supposed to take. Rashad Weaver, the team's leader in sacks for Pitt, gets one here, and now we get a timeout called for by Virginia. 6 seconds to go before the half. And don't forget, Statement Saturday tomorrow. It's going to be a big one in the Big Ten, Penn State and Michigan. It's going to get us started at 3:45 Eastern. Then it's number 4 Notre Dame and Northwestern at 7:15 Eastern. Both games on ESPN and live on the ESPN app. The first college football playoff top 10 came out. Here's our rankings brought to us by Allstate. That came out on Tuesday night. Were you surprised by anything?
Man, how good is this next month of college football going to be? No, I wasn't surprised. I mean, LSU certainly deserves to be up there. Notre Dame, Michigan, who's got a huge one tomorrow. Georgia's got a big one. Kentucky's going to get tested against Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia, Kentucky, that's going to decide the SEC East tomorrow.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that back in August?
I'm telling you, Kentucky's defense and their outside linebacker, Josh Allen, are a problem, and they're going to test Georgia offensively.
Now the officials are in a review. Apparently they are looking for a possible targeting. And it was Bryce Perkins getting sacked. And Patrick Jones, number 91, made contact with Perkins' helmet. Now, was it targeting? That's what they're trying to figure out. Andrew Panucci is our replay official. And this would be devastating for Pitt because it's 6 seconds to halftime, but it's happening here in the first half. So if they do confirm that it's a targeting call,
yeah,
he would be out for the first half of the next game next week.
Me personally, with the quarterback hemmed up in the pocket, I don't see it.
Forcible contact with the crown of the helmet or any forcible contact to the head or neck area of a defenseless opponent.
And this could take away, the sack by Perkins that made that field goal 3 or 4 yards longer. It makes it a much easier attempt. It has impact on not only the second half for Jones, but also where this kick is going to happen from.
It's a booth-initiated review. Again, Andrew Panucci is replay official looking at it upstairs.
You're talking changing this from a 40-yard kick or so to 25-yard, almost extra point distance.
Patrick Jones is the player that is in jeopardy of being ejected from this game. Number 91, Pitt.
And this is why this is a really big decision. They rotate a lot of guys. They rotate a lot of guys in and out. They lost Keyshawn Camp to an injury, who's not even playing tonight, who was a starter for them. So if they rule this a targeting, which you know, there might be some evidence on video to do that, it's going to take one of those rotational guys for this Pitt defensive line out, and now it's going to stress everyone else.
After review, there was a personal foul targeting by number 91 of the defense. The penalty is half the distance to the goal line. Automatic first down, and number 91 is disqualified.
Yeah, I misspoke earlier. It is a break for Pitt. He would not be disqualified for the second game because it happened with 6 seconds to go here in the first half. Anything that happens in the first half does not carry over to the next week. But Patrick Jones is out of this game. It's going to be a targeting call. And Virginia's going to have an easier field goal attempt.
And Virginia
for
will
Brian
not be
Delaney.
charged a timeout.
This will be a 30-yard attempt. Delaney has really revived what was a lackluster kicking game for the Cavaliers. Took over the job after the bye week, and now Pitt wants to put him on ice.
Timeout, Pittsburgh. That is their second charge of this half.
Delaney was really good in that upset of Miami, went 3 for 3 in that game. Well, Sports Center tonight after the Timberwolves Warriors with Linda and Max. They're going to have a full recap from the Oracle. Plus, Derrick Rose talks about his emotional 50-point game for Minnesota. And hear from Tom Brady ahead of his showdown with Aaron Rodgers in the Packers Sports Center, 1 a.m. Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. So a chance here for Virginia to take the lead. Look at the emotion from Patrick Jones, ejected from this game for targeting.
Tough call, right? And that lunge at the end is what really gets him. Just that lunge, that final 6 inches is what got Jones.
And now Narduzzi using his last timeout to further make Brian Delaney think about this kick.
Listen, this is right now a 7-7 game with first place on the line. I don't mind Pat Narduzzi. Use them all. You can't take him into halftime. 3 points is going to be huge for this game. So we don't know what impact that could have on the field goal. So I love it. Make Virginia make the kick with some pressure, thinking about it. There's no point in keeping that timeout in your pocket.
Number 25, Virginia, ranked for the first time in 7 years. Trying to take the lead here just before halftime. Delaney's kick. Like I said, nothing easy tonight or routine in the kicking game, but he makes that one look routine, bangs it through from 30 yards, and Virginia leads it 10-7 as the first half comes to an end.
Big drive by Bryce Perkins and this Virginia offense at the end of half. Execution going into halftime gives them the lead.
Well, now the officials have stopped the players from heading into the locker room. Going to send him back to the sideline. There might be some time left here. Let's see how much. Well, hits the net with about 3 seconds left. We'll see how much time they put back on the clock. We're being told 2 seconds.
And Pat Narduzzi, as evidenced, will take him. I mean, he called that timeout, made Delaney make the kick. Credit Delaney for making it.
Yeah, and they've got a weapon in Maurice French.
You got to imagine
best
that.
return men in the country.
And you got to imagine that Virginia will squib kick this or something. Make sure that French doesn't get his hands on the ball. And for Pitt, Nothing silly. You don't want to get a ball bouncing on this slick surface the wrong way.
The last 2 years, Pitt has returned a touchdown against Virginia. In 16, it was a kickoff return touchdown. Last year, it was a punt return touchdown. That's in the back of Bronco Mendenhall's mind here.
There's no way you kick this to French.
So Delaney will approach the ball, and you're right, it's a pooch kick. It's going to be taken at the 20. One of the up men, it's Darrin Hall, and he is dropped, and that ends the first half. Virginia 6-0 this year when leading at the half. Pittsburgh under 500 when trailing at the break. That's the case here, 10-7. Virginia leading. We now go to the studio with Chris, Joey, and Jesse. You're watching college football on ESPN, presented by Hulu. Well, the good news is the rain has stopped, and it doesn't look like it's coming back. It rained all afternoon and a large part of that first half. In this big game in the ACC Coastal, winner controls its own destiny in the division, and it's 10-7 Virginia at the half. With Dan Orlovsky, I'm Clay Matvick. What's going to decide this thing in the second half?
What team is going to settle down and play a clean half of football? Stop putting the ball on the ground, get away with the penalties. Whoever does that has a great chance.
The track is drying out. That should help. Pittsburgh's run game just hasn't been able to get going.
Had a lot of plays. They've got to get some first downs to get some plays for their offense, get Ellis in some touches, and put the game in the hands of their offensive line.
Pittsburgh will get the football here to start the second half. It was a big field goal right before halftime by Brian Delaney, who kicks off and gave Virginia the lead. And Bryce Perkins hasn't done a lot because of the weather early on in this game, but he's done enough to have Virginia in front.
Yeah, the first touchdown, he sees that the safety can't get over the top, and he finds Jana down the sideline for a huge touchdown pass. But his ability to take a negative play and turn it into a positive one doesn't show up in the stats, but a big part of that first half. And then again, escaping, finding Jana for some completion. So it's been the Bryce Perkins show, and Pitt as a defense has got to figure out how do we get a key into that guy and slow him down.
Just 3 incompletions for Perkins in that first half. Pretty good considering a wet football for most of that half. That one is tipped and incomplete as we go to Paul Carcaterra.
Clay, I caught up with Pat Narduzzi, the Pitt coach, at halftime. I asked him, why would you go for it on 4th and 1 on your own 11? He said because he loves his offensive line and that unit has guts. This is the type of weather offensive linemen love. It's muddy, it's wet, it's dirty. Defensively, he said he's not thrilled with the tackling in the open field, specifically with regards to Bryce Perkins, who's been giving them some problems with his feet and his arm. But this is tailor-made for these two teams, man. This is going to be a battle of the wills in the trenches.
That's a veteran O-line for Pitt. And they're going to get it to Maurice French. He's going to try to get to the outside and cut it up, but he can't. Swarmed under, led by Charles Snowden, who's having himself a game. Tim Harris also in on the play for the Cavaliers. It'll be 3rd down and long.
I talked about Snowden's length. Watch his length here, able to bench press Pitt's tight end and continue to run horizontally down the line of scrimmage. That's forcing French to go horizontally. Just the length of Snowden allowing him to make that play, setting up a huge 3rd and long. For Virginia's defense, here comes some pressure. Kenny Pickett find Arujo Lopes.
Pitt has yet to convert on 3rd down tonight, 0 for 5. Stepping up, Pickett eludes the rush. And he may have the first down. Kenny Pickett willing his way to the 35-yard line, trying to keep the drive alive, and he may have. Yes, he did do it. First down.
And really, Pickett getting through his progression quickly, realizing the defense fell back, and then that one cut and finishing on blunt. What a great play by the young quarterback for Pitt on a huge start to this second half.
He's got good feet. Team's 3rd leading rusher coming into the night. Had a pretty 30-yard touchdown run last week in that win over Duke. He moves the sticks here. Pick it away from center. He's going to give it to Darrin Hall, and he's cut down in the backfield. It's going to be a loss of a yard. We have our first penalty of the second half. We had 12 in the first half. They also have a man down.
Offense number 2. 10-yard penalty. First down.
A penalty on Maurice French. And we've got an injured Cavalier.
Injury timeout.
First drive of the second half returns after this. Welcome back to the ACC on ESPN. Here in Charlottesville, Virginia, our first president, George Washington. Statue of him on our campus that was founded by the third president, Thomas Jefferson. Not a good look for Virginia's Mandy Alonso, limping to the sideline, the defensive end. He plays almost every snap, so that's a big loss for the Cavaliers. First down at 20 after the penalty against the Panthers. It's Darrin Hall. He'll get a handful back. Joey Blunt on the tackle. And Pittsburgh has been outscored 144-85 in the second half this season.
Manny Alonso putting no pressure on his left leg. I'll give you an update once I get the news. And they're also down Juan Thornhill. We haven't seen him in the second half as he left with an injury in the second quarter. 2 men down for Virginia.
Yeah, they're nicked up right now. Thanks, Paul. Here's Pickett. We're going to throw, and it's in and out of the hands of Shaki Jacques-Louis. Incomplete. Now, third down and long.
It's a good read by... Ball across your face. Catch it out in front of your eyes. And now you get the third and long for Pitt's offense. You know, we've seen a bunch of blitzes out of the Virginia defense. I'd expect another one, and to force Kenny Pickett to throw it short, rally and make a tackle.
This will be their 30th play of the night for the Panthers. They've got 135 yards of offense, 1 third down conversion. Pickett chased by Snowden, and he is caught from behind for the second time in this game by the 6'7" outside linebacker. Great wheels by Snowden.
I've mentioned his physical attributes, but how about the effort that Snowden is playing tonight with? Blitzes inside, gets away from it, and tracks Kenny Pickett down for another huge play by Snowden in the Virginia defense.
Pickett's been hearing his footsteps all night. And this is the 4th punt for Christodoulou. Tavares Kelly from the 25. Ducks under and gets across the 30 to the 31. 4th straight punt for Pitt after their opening drive resulted in a touchdown. It is November. That means Statement Saturday. It's coming your way tomorrow with a great one in the Big Ten between Penn State and Michigan. 14 versus 15 at the Big House. And then college football primetime. Number 4, Notre Dame at Northwestern. That is no gimme for the Irish. Northwestern's on fire right now, hosting Notre Dame for the first time since '76. A big slate of games, including number 1 Alabama and number 3 LSU. Tua, 25 touchdowns on the year. He has not been intercepted as of yet. You think LSU can make him uncomfortable?
LeBron?
Well, that's going to be calling him LeBron. The LeBron of college football, according to Orlovsky. There's Olamide Zaccheaus, and he can't hang on, so it's incomplete second down. So what does LSU have to do to rattle Tua's cage and get a win?
Yeah, I mean, certainly, you know, I would take Greedy Williams, and I would put him on Jerry Jeudy all game long. And then, really, it's flip side. You are the number 1 run team. LSU is in the SEC Conference. Run the ball. Win time of possession. Last year, Bama got beat by Auburn when they got dominated by time of possession. And LSU's second in the conference doing that. And get aggressive on 4th down. Maybe go for it.
That's going to be a great one tomorrow night in the SEC West. Zaccheaus believes he has not been tackled down to the ground. He stays on his feet and goes to the end zone, but they're going to call him back. Zacchaeus, good for him for not giving up on the play, but it looks like he was indeed down according to the officials. Shani Dowu made the tackle, and now the crowd is getting a look at it on the Jumbotron, and you will too at home now. Now his rear end was down, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly not obvious that he doesn't touch the ground. It looks like as he rolls over, Idowu at the backside, lower back, touchdown.
That second angle on the replay, that's the one that the crowd here at Scott Stadium saw. and I agree with them. It did,
yeah, sure.
It was deceiving. It looked like he wasn't brought all the way down to the turf. And I think they're going to look at it upstairs to make sure. But the first replay was
timeout, Virginia.
A cinch.
First charge of the second half.
But they're going to do their due diligence and have a review here in Charlottesville. We step aside. Virginia has the football and the lead, 10-7 here in the third quarter. A lot on the line here in the ACC Coastal in this game. Virginia, the half-game lead on Virginia Tech and Pittsburgh. So both Virginia and Pitt. Virginia Tech control their own destiny in this division. So they did take a look at it again, but we showed you that he was down. Anyway, the officials blew the whistle, so the play was dead. So it's third down and about 5. Perkins escapes the pocket, and he is going to be hit at the 40. Great effort after the contact to get the first down. Bryce Perkins, as he has been all year, has been good on his feet tonight.
I mean, really watch how he hangs in the pocket and doesn't leave. Just finds his lane and then escapes on the edge. And then strong enough, that thoraback, strong enough to watch the block by Reed to just get that extra yard or two. These receivers will play hard for this quarterback, knowing how special of a talent he is.
Joe Reed, he grew up in rural Charlotte County, Virginia, hunting, fishing, frog gigging. He's a hard-working guy. Guys love him on this team as Jordan Ellis carries ahead for a gain of a handful. The one thing I will say about that play, Virginia was charged a timeout because they asked for the review. So that could come back to factor in this game because it may be tight at the end.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at what's going to come down to a one-possession game near the end. So that could come back to haunt you as an offense. When we're looking at Virginia's offense right now, they've got to get Zacchaeus some touches. He's only got 1 touch right now in the pass game so far. Want to see him get him the ball a little bit out in space.
92% of the offense has run through Perkins and Zacchaeus coming into the night. Now we get a false start on Virginia.
False start. Offense number 54. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Bryce Perkins has a very athletic family. His uncle Don played for the Cowboys in the 60s. His dad Bruce played running back at Arizona State. And brother Paul is a running back at UCLA, now on injured reserve with the Giants.
Special family of athletes, and we're so lucky as college football fans that Bryce Perkins found a home and we get to watch him play.
Second down and a dozen. Lob, Chris Sharp, and nearly intercepted. Third down.
Guys, pump the brakes, too, on that family tree. Don't forget Mama Bear. I spent some time with Bryce yesterday, and he told me she's his biggest influence. She actually breaks down his films and really critical of his passing errors anytime he's not making the right reads, and he said she's the best.
Did your mom do that for you?
You know what she's looking at? I mean, does she know the play and the progression and whatnot? I mean, geez, Mom.
Yeah, he didn't run a lot at Arizona Western last year, but he didn't need to. We have seen him run well tonight. We've seen him throw pretty well here tonight as well. But now he's got a third down and a dozen. Throw over the middle. There is Reed. He makes, he bobbled it and dropped it. Incomplete. Fourth down, and Virginia will have to punt.
And there's a guy, Dennis Briggs, who is a leader at safety for Pitt. They showed a bunch of pressure up in the line of scrimmage. Briggs able to come downhill and just affect Joe Reed enough to force that pass breakup. Good job by Pitt getting off the field.
How good has Lester Coleman been tonight? Another one inside the 20. And Pitt will have it at the 16 when we come back. 10-7 Cavs. "15 schools, all on one network, a new place to call home." The ACC network coming August 2019. Pitt joined the league in 2013 after a long run in the Big East, and Virginia, a charter member going back to 1953. Pat Narduzzi's team has been outscored handily in the second half. They're down 3 with just over 9 minutes to go here in quarter number 3. Pickett away from center. He's going to give it to Darrin Hall with a stiff arm trying to get to the edge. Get 3 yards on that play. We have not seen a lot of Quadri Olison, Dan, here in this ball game tonight. Just 3 carries for the big physical running back. 3rd leading rusher in the ACC. And it's interesting to note on that, you know, he did seemingly hurt his hamstring last week.
Gents, I saw the trainers working on Olison in the second quarter. It was like his left hamstring area, rubbing it down, and he was working the sidelines to see if he can get some traction and make some moves. I'll update you when I get more info.
That's a guy they need. Pickett steps up, ball came out, and the Panthers are able to recover, but there's number 34, Bryce Hall, getting in the backfield
Rolling on the
and
field
nearly
is a
causing a
fumble.
turnover for the Cavaliers. That's a loss.
Pittsburgh, 3rd down.
Great job by Hall coming off the edge. A.J. Davis, the Pitt backs, responsible to block him, and Hall doesn't hesitate. Right off the edge and not able to get home, finds the ball, forces that fumble. Bryce Hall is a very, very smart football player for Virginia, which is a theme for their whole defense.
Bronco Mendenhall no longer calling the plays on defense. He's turned that over to defensive coordinator Nick Howell. And that unit has done a good job tonight. Pickett in trouble again. Nearly sacked again. Gets out of the jam and gets to the 12-yard line where he's pulled down from behind. That might be a horse collar. Yeah, there comes the flag. And that might bail Pitt out of a tough situation.
Personal foul, horse collar, defense number 11, 15 yards, automatic first down.
The only mistake Charles Snowden has made here tonight.
It's a great play by Pickett, getting out of the pocket, getting out of trouble, and that's a horse collar. That's a horse collar all day long. Brown gets inside of the jersey, inside of the pads, and ripped Pickett down.
The 9th penalty against Virginia tonight, more than double their season average. And that one really hurts. And now Hall again. How about Kenny Pickett's grit, though, Dan? I mean, this guy nearly led an upset at Notre Dame 3 weeks ago. Grew up in New Jersey, rooting for the Irish, always wanted to play for that team. Nearly pulled off that upset with the Panthers in South Bend. Pat Narduzzi loves him because of his determination and grit.
Yeah, and his home is Pitt. I mean, he belongs at Pitt. They love him. He's a great fit. I believe he's got a bright, bright future at that program.
He takes the snap for Jimmy Morrissey and goes to Hall again. And Hall's going to be about a yard shy of the first down. Kenny Pickett's parents both played collegiate sports. Dad Ken, an All-American linebacker at Shippensburg. Mom Casey played soccer at Kutztown. And they are proud of Kenny.
Special kid. I love him in play action. Sees the field really well post-snap. very bright, so Pitt's in a good place with him. And you're going to see Pitt lean on their offensive line a little bit on this 3rd and short as Pickett's running the line of scrimmage, telling where we want to go off numbers.
Well, Olison is in on this play, and it's Quadri Olison. That hamstring looks just fine. Across the 45 to the 48, that's a gain of 12 for the senior from Niagara Falls.
Man, how about this block by big George Aston at fullback? Finding Blunt and collapsing him, creating that hole for Olison. I love George Aston. Look how he gets low on Blunt to make that block. And I just feel like Pitt in this offensive line that's hitting their stride is really going to get reliant on this run game.
George Aston must have a size 20 neck. I mean, it is unbelievable. He is built low to the ground, and he can really throw a block. As Pitt is into Virginia territory, down at the 46-yard line. And there is George Aston, the Virginia native, probably Narduzzi's favorite player. He had 10 touchdowns in 2016. Missed most of last year with an injury. And he's got a defined role in this offense. A lot of the offense runs through him.
And you said it. I mean, they move him around. A lot of their run game starts where he is. He's a big information guy for him. He's just so versatile at his size. It's great.
First time in Virginia territory since the 2:39 mark of the first quarter for the Panthers. And Pickett is going up top, looking for Taysir Mack. Kid out of Brooklyn. Can't hit him. Tim Harris was in on the coverage for the Cavaliers.
And that's a good play call for Pitt's offense. Run, some play action shot, but I've mentioned Virginia so fundamentally sound on defense and smart. Bryce Hall, the boundary corner, did a nice job of dropping and dropping. That forces that ball from Kenny Pickett to have too much air. And the corner, Tim Harris playing over the top. It's such a small window for Kenny Pickett to hit. And so now 3rd down for Pitt. Rujo Lopes, I've mentioned his name a couple times.
The pitch to Darrin Hall. Another first down for the Panthers as this run game is finding traction now here late in the 3rd quarter. That offensive line has really come to life.
Great play call by Sean Watson. Understanding you're going to get 5 guys on the line of scrimmage. So let's option off Snowden. And then Hall with a great move out in space on cross. You just put Snowden in that bind. You've got to take me as the quarterback or allow me to pitch it to Hall. So Sean Watson, the Pitt OC, is really getting into rhythm right now on this drive. And this is going to be a run game again for Pickett.
10th play of the series, and it's Olison again.
The Pitt O-line is getting it done, and you guys are mentioning Sean Watson. I think a key cog in all this is George Aston. Field level, guys, he's been blowing dudes up all night, and it's kind of a throwback. He loves what he does, according to Watson. In a day and age where the fullback's not used much, this guy is making plays. He's like an extra lineman on this team, and he can catch balls too, Dano. 13 receps on the season, and everyone thinks he'll have a future in the NFL.
No, he'll definitely play on Sundays. Too versatile, too good of a player. Watch run left here. Pickett sees rotation.
And they do that with Olison trying to get that block from Aston. Charles Snowden with the tackle. It was his penalty that kept the drive alive for Pittsburgh back on their side of the field. We've got another 3rd down coming up as you see Olison, Gimpy going back to that Pitt sideline.
Nice play by Snowden, but if you're Pitt and it's this 3rd and 2, your offensive line right now is in rhythm, dominating. Stick with your run game, treat this as 4 down territory, and play the numbers game with Pickett at the line of scrimmage like you have been.
Hall in the backfield behind Aston.
Run's going left here, Clay. He's seeing numbers going left.
Up the middle. And that's another first down for Pittsburgh. Darrin Hall. And we've got another man down for the Cavaliers. We've seen our share of injuries tonight. We've got 2 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. The training staff comes out to attend to an injured Cavalier. 10-7 Virginia, we step aside. We've seen some injuries throughout the night, Dan. As we're back here with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter, Virginia leading 10-7. The players are huddled around the man down on the field. It's Joey Blount, terrific defensive back for the Cavs. And we've seen the injury. It didn't look good.
And these are some of the tough moments of football, and these kids play so hard. And everyone knows it's a physical game and violent game, right? And sometimes tough stuff like this happens, and you really rally as a team around the injured guy. And think of these guys are friends.
Yeah.
They go to school together, they work out together, hang out together. So it's one of your buddies who's kind of fallen down.
And the secondary has been such a big part of what Virginia has done to get to this point in first place in the ACC Coastal. A lot on the line in this game. The winner of this game will be in charge of its own destiny to win the division here this year.
Yeah, it's a great story for both programs, right? Kind of in this rebuild mode. And Virginia probably a little earlier ahead of the pace than they should be. Narduzzi's done a great job at Pitt, and we're going to see what happens over this last quarter and a half. Who can finish?
Now Blount is up. He is going to be helped off the field. We're going to take another quick commercial break, and we'll come back here in a moment to Charlottesville. Well, we can report that Joey Blount was putting some pressure on the injured leg, but he is out now. So is Juan Thornhill, the strong safety for UVA. They are shorthanded now in the secondary. 13th play of the series for Pittsburgh. First down, Pickett to throw. He is complete to the 20-yard line and is caught by Darrin Hall out of the backfield for a gain of 5. Second down and 5. It's been a good drive for Pittsburgh with some help from penalties, but no doubt Kenny Pickett has settled in. The offensive line is moving the line of scrimmage. What's going on here for Pitt on this series?
Well, one thing they're doing is calling 2 plays in the huddle. Kenny Pickett's getting to the line of scrimmage, seeing where the numbers advantage or a leverage advantage is, and that's where they're running the ball. And then they've just been good on first down in some of their play actions of making sure they're getting completions.
That's Maurice French in motion. They're going to run it again with Hall. Good run inside the 10, inside the 5, down to the 2. Darrin Hall finally brought down by Zane Zandier, but it's first down, goal to go Pitt.
And it's really the block by Herndon, the right guard, that collapses that UVA defense. Great eyes by Hall to see the hole open up. And we keep talking about this Pitt O-line starting to truly hit their targets and take control of the line of scrimmage.
How about this sustained drive? 8 minutes taken off the clock by these Panthers. 15th play now.
On left. All right.
And it's Hall taking it in. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. What a drive. Darrin Hall with his second rushing touchdown of the night. 15 plays, 84 yards on the series.
And again, it was their right guard, Mike Herndon, taking 2 for the UVA defense. And that's Pittsburgh football right there. That is that smash mouth run game that has really started to embody this program.
And Pitt now leads it 14-10.
Herndon at right guard with Jimmy Morrissey, the center and guard, staying connected on the hips, hitting their targets in their run game. And man, Darrin Hall was impactful on that drive.
He's been impactful all night. Well, Tuesday, November 6th is Election Day, of course. And it also marks the anniversary of the first college football game played in 1869 between Princeton and Rutgers. In 2019, ESPN and ABC will celebrate the 150th anniversary of college football with a year-long initiative, including several documentaries, 2 weekly series entitled The American Game and The Greatest, a history of SEC football, and so much more. And believe it or not, I know you think I'm old, but I wasn't around to see that game. I was not. Contrary to popular belief.
And how impactful was that horse collar? on third down.
No question.
Huge. Swings that whole drive, and right now the football game.
And that's what you talked about at the half. You said whoever plays the cleanest will ultimately win this, and that really hurt Virginia.
Because it was third down. You're going to get Pitt to punt the football, and it's just silly or dumb or whatever. Your kid's playing hard, and he just grabs the wrong spot, right? But it gives Pitt a first down, so momentum, they get going, and they orchestrate a beautiful drive.
It's almost 9 minutes of game time since Virginia has been on the field with its offense. And let's see if Bryce Perkins can get UVA going. He's going to throw on first down to Olamide Zaccheaus, trying to squirm out of a tackle. He'll pick up 5. DeMar Hamlin on the tackle out to the 30-yard line for UVA. And you touched on this before, Dan, that Zaccheaus has basically been a non-factor in this one.
Only 2 or 3 touches, right, for a guy who leads your program in catches. He's going to be really important for this Virginia offense heading into this fourth quarter, trying to close this game out.
It's going to be decided late here in Charlottesville. Fourth quarter coming up. It's amazing how well both of these teams have played this year, considering where they were picked in the preseason poll. Virginia was picked to finish last in the Coastal BC. Coming into the night, Virginia 4-1, Pittsburgh 3-1. So this is huge here as we start the fourth quarter. Virginia trailing 14-10 to Pittsburgh. And the Cavaliers have the football at their own 30-yard line. What a job Bronco Mendenhall has done changing the expectations of this Virginia program as Perkins dives ahead for the first down. And this is 2017 when Virginia became bowl eligible after the victory over Georgia Tech. And this is this year. They got their 6th win last week against North Carolina. Yeah, and there was some mugging for the camera and taking pictures with fans, but there wasn't a storming of the field. That's because the expectations have changed here and quickly. You know, it's not they hope to make a bowl game, it's they expect to make a bowl game, and they want to compete for an ACC Coastal Championship. Getting loose, it's Ellis up the middle. Jordan Ellis ripping off one of the better runs of the night for either team. And he's down at the 42-yard line of Pitt.
And it's really Proctor with the great double-team block. And then rear guard, Feeler, chops off Pitt's middle linebacker, Elias Reynolds. And that's what Jordan Ellis does best. As a back, he's best when he's downhill right now. And it's why Virginia uses so much of the pistol in their offense. They're trying to get Ellis downhill behind their powerful guards.
Jordan Ellis could be a 1,000-yard rusher again this year. Timeout is called by Bryce Perkins.
Timeout.
And that's going to mean Virginia's going to have
second
one remaining.
charge of this half.
With 13:48 to go, 14-10, Panthers leading.
ESPN College Football is presented by Hulu. Watch your football games live all season long on your favorite channels, no cable required. And in part by Mazda. Feel alive.
Last season was great for Tony Bennett's Cavaliers basketball team. Of course, didn't end so well in the NCAA tournament, losing to a 16 seed. First time a 1 seed went down to a 16 last year. Season begins Tuesday. They're ranked number 5. Bronco Mendenhall wants to bring that kind of success to this football program, and he's on his way as Ellis carries ahead to the 40-yard line on first down for Virginia. And so this game is getting long in the tooth. It's 14-10 Pittsburgh with a lot on the line. Bronco Mendenhall's team currently alone in first place, a half game ahead of Pitt and Virginia Tech. You see the total yards tonight. Laden football game.
The big thing right now for Pitt on defense is they've made Virginia's offense one-dimensional. A team that averages $186 on the ground has only rushed for 60. That's exactly where Pitt wants you.
Perkins is going to throw here, finds Kelly, and Kelly has enough for the first down and then some. That's a gain of 12. for Tavares Kelly. He was on the relay team at St. Thomas Aquinas High School, one of 62 freshmen on this Virginia roster. Another reason that Bronco Mendenhall feels the future is really bright for his program.
He's a guy that they want to make a conscious effort to really continue to get him the ball. It's so good.
The previous play of a first down is under further review.
And now they're going to replay the spot. And a lot of reviews tonight as well. Got another one. They looked at it again. Tavares Kelly's going to be ruled down at the 36-yard line. So instead of first down at the 29-yard line of Pittsburgh, they're going to bring it back to the 36, where it'll be third down and about 4.
Obviously huge review, and you know, the thing that Bryce Perkins allows you to do in this situation, that he's such a weapon running the ball, is you can still utilize your run game in 3rd and 4 here. So I look for them to move Zaccheaus around, see if you can get him in a one-on-one situation, and if not, certainly put the ball in Bryce Perkins' hands.
Junior college transfer. Started his career at Arizona State. And begun here on 3rd down and 4. And he finds his favorite target, Olamide Zaccheaus. We haven't called his name a lot tonight. We do here, and it's a gain of 14 and a big first down for Virginia.
Well, they motion him across to gain some leverage on Briggs, the safety for Pitt, and then he widens his release, gets the defender to move out of the way, and good timing by Perkins to get that ball before Briggs, the safety for Pitt, can collapse. But that motion, the wide release, opens that window up for Zaccheaus.
That's his 4th catch. He's been targeted 6 times tonight. Now Perkins looking to throw again. He's going to step up and get hit. There's Dwayne Hendricks, the defensive end, the former Tennessee Volunteer, coming in for the sack. Little help from Twyman.
Hendricks, a guy that you're not going to fool, but really this play is made by the middle linebacker, Elias Reynolds, because Perkins wants to go up in the pocket, and he stayed home, almost 2 gaps it, where he takes on Jordan Ellis, the back, trying to block him, and doesn't give Perkins a lane to run to.
Overall, the numbers for the Pitt defense this year have not been good. 12th in total defense in the ACC, trying to stand their ground here on 2nd down and long. Perkins flushed out, flips it out, and it is caught by Hasise Dubois for a minimal gain. 3rd down for Virginia. And we said it before, Zaccheaus is the main guy. Dubois has come along a little bit. He has shown some maturity here in recent months to get more playing time.
Marcus Hagans, who's a ex-player here for Virginia, their wide receiver coach, has had such an impact on him. Really, are we going to be just another guy, or do you want to really make an impact on this program? And credit Dubois, who's really grown up, taking care of his body, practiced the right way, and he's really had a good season for Virginia.
And he's in the doghouse with coaches for a while. He's at the top of the screen. It's Lamont Atkins in motion out of the backfield. Perkins on the draw, nowhere to go. Smothered by Rashad Weaver. He has been spectacular tonight. That's a loss of 3. And now it's decision time for Bronco Mendenhall.
A great play by the Pitt D-line, and this is the right call by Mendenhall. Kick this field goal. Plenty of time left in this game. Both defenses are playing well. Get points out of that drive, that answer of a drive from Pitt's long touchdown drive.
So Brian Delaney comes on. This will be a 42-yard attempt. Yes. And it's a 1-point game. Boy, Brian Delaney has been good for the Cavaliers here in recent weeks. 9:51 to go. 1-point difference. Pitt's defense does its job. They force Virginia to settle for a field goal. Delaney bangs it through from 42, and we've got a 1-point game here in the 4th quarter with the lead in the ACC Coastal on the line. Delaney has hit from 30 and 42 now. And now Pitt, which controlled the football for 8 minutes and 40 seconds on their last series, ready to get the ball back. Going to start from the 25. NFL Sunday Countdown on ESPN at 10 a.m. Eastern. Crew is in New Orleans, where Coach Corso will make a special headgear pick. Then our Monday Night Football matchup has the Titans in Dallas to take on the Cowboys at 8:15 Eastern. All available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. Clay Matvick, Dan Orlovsky, Paul Carcaterra here in Charlottesville, where Amari Cooper is the new toy for Scott Linehan.
A lot of pressure on Dak Prescott. You've now got a really good receiver. Your play's got to get better.
And Pitt with a hole up the middle for Darrin Hall. And he is off to the races. Darrin Hall. He's got the hat trick, his third touchdown tonight. This one for 75 yards. Wow, what a blow to Virginia.
How about that? One play. We're talking about a team that's going on 8-minute drives. One play to the house.
Loose football picked up by Scarton, the holder. Now Virginia trying to advance it. They're having trouble picking it up. And that could be huge. So it stays a 7-point football game. But there's the man of the night, Darrin Hall. He's got 3 touchdowns now. That goes 75 yards.
Let's watch the collapse of the right side of the Pitt offensive line. Down block, down block. Dentino, the guard, pulls around, and then our guy, George Aston, leads through. And that sends Darrin Hall for a huge touchdown. Aston opens up that hole, but it's the right side of that offensive line, collapsing the Virginia defense. And you get a guard pulling around for a kick-out block, and then you have your fullback lead through. And great backs follow their fullbacks.
And here's the bad hold by Jake Scarton. And again, it's been wet here tonight. Tons of rain this afternoon, and most of the first half, it stays a 7-point game. That could be a big factor here in the last 9 minutes and 40 seconds. As Kessman bangs it into the end zone, Joe Reed will take a knee. So the first drive of this second half for Pitt, 8 minutes and 40 seconds. That one just 11 seconds.
You know what they have in common, Clay? George Aston. I mean, in a way, he's a weapon, because in college football nowadays, it's so spread out, right? And so Pitt has got this guy who's versatile enough and big and loves contact. Can you defend him? Can you handle him? He's having a huge impact for their offense.
2 reasons I'd be concerned if I'm Virginia. The offensive line of Pitt has just been hammering away at this defensive line. Not to mention, they're down 3 starters defensively in this fourth quarter. It's going to be huge. Joey Blunt, he's on crutches. Mandy Alonso, he's on crutches. And Juan Thornhill has not returned since the second quarter.
That is a big blow to this Virginia defense.
Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty, first down.
And they keep making mistakes. This time it's Jake Feeler, the right guard, and that's penalty number 10 tonight on the Cavaliers.
It's odd for Bronco Mendenhall's team to handle that like that. You know, he's so well coached, and they've been so good at handling all the little details. This is uncharacteristic of them this evening.
80 yards in penalties tonight for Virginia. 1st and 15 for Bryce Perkins. got 200 yards passing. He's going to go to the air here to the outside. He's complete to Chris Sharp, the fullback. And he'll get a couple back. Hamlin on that tackle. But last year, the Cavaliers started the season 5-1. And then they lost 6 of their last 7, including an embarrassing loss to Navy in the Military Bowl. And then again, this year, get out to such a great start. I'm sure there's some fans in here that wanted confirmation that this team was going to really, finish strong.
They've gotten up to this point. I mean, they're in a game in November for first place. This is a really, really good football team.
Perkins to find a block on that outside edge. And another 3rd down and long. So a win here tonight would be win number 7 for Virginia. Be their 5th in the ACC against 1 loss, but they're going to have to come from behind to do it. Now at 3rd down, what are they doing here?
Well, you've got to anticipate that Randy Bates is going to come after you if you're Pittsburgh. And so spread them out. It's for sure coming. Here's the pressure. So Bryce Perkins, understand who's coming. And then if you get blitz, throw into it. That it can get you your 1st down.
3 receivers to the field. Perkins looking that way, but he's hit again. And Dwayne Hendricks has been in the backfield a ton tonight. What a year the senior is having, and what a night he is having here on the road. That's the 4th sack for the Panthers.
They motion Cowley in, a tight end. And because of Pitt getting so many people up in the line of scrimmage, Cowley's blocking Hendricks one-on-one. So you've got a tight end blocking a defensive end one-on-one, but it's really because Pitt put all those guys up in the line of scrimmage. They get a one-on-one for their defense.
First 3 and out of the game for either team. This is a short punt for Lester Coleman. Checks up and bounces sideways to the 48-yard line of Pitt. That's the worst punt of the night for Coleman. A couple of 50-yarders, plus this one just 33, and Pitt has great field position here with 7.5 to go, leading by 7. Back in a moment. Now you can see the game's decided by 1 possession for Pitt and Virginia this year, both 500. Bronco Mendenhall's team ranked in the top 25. First time Virginia's been ranked in the top 25 in 7 years. They're in jeopardy of being upset here tonight. Pitt, they've had some top 25 upsets here in recent years. They have the football back, great field position. Just 7:32 to go. Darrin Hall, the senior from Youngstown, Ohio. He has been dynamite tonight. Rams it to the 45-yard line of Virginia. 2nd and short. 15 carries now. Hall is over 200 yards, and he has 3 touchdowns.
And that's against the top 20 rush defense for Virginia. And this Pitt offensive line has just been, I keep saying it, hitting their targets. And what I mean by that is they understand where the defense is flowing, how they're reacting, and they're getting to that spot. And it's really creating holes for Hall all night.
They'll feed him again. Look at this, hurdling or trying to hurdle a defender. And he's brought down at the 40-yard line. Athleticism for Darrin Hall. Brent Nelson, the backup strong safety with Juan Thornhill out of this game, makes the tackle.
I mean, that's a 230-pound guy going up like that. Now give Nelson credit. He doesn't fall for it, right? I mean, he gets him down, but, it's an example of how athletic a guy like Hall is.
And Quadri Olison hasn't been real effective tonight in the Pitt running game. Maybe that hamstring flaring up, so they've needed to rely on Darrin Hall more here tonight. And he has answered the bell. Here he is again. The Malik Carter experiment was so effective last week, Dan. And we saw him early in this game it was apparent that Virginia was ready for that, so they've had to do something else in the run game, and the answer has been Darrin Hall.
No doubt. And, you know, like you said, they used Malik Carter early, trying to get on the perimeter. And Virginia plays a 3-4 defense. It's hard to run outside on 3-4 defenses. And so what they've done is really what you want to do against a 3-4 defense. Run inside, get inside, because of the way the gaps are on your guards. They're not covered. Hall's responded.
Well, the Virginia rush defense has been a letdown tonight after 2 great weeks, holding opponents under 66 yards. That's Ellis. He'll get 3. So now 3rd down with 5 minutes to go, and this crowd is going to get behind this defense. The sideline is always behind who's ever on the field for Virginia.
I understand the field position right here, 35. I've got to be thinking, if I'm Pitt, here comes pressure. I would love to see them get a screen. It's a somewhat safe play. If you call it into the blitz, it could be a home run, and it protects the ball a little bit.
Pickett wants to throw. Coming back for the ball, incomplete. Even if the catch had been made by Jacques Louis, he was going to be short of the sticks without turning around and charging upfield. And it's going to be 4th down for Pittsburgh.
Well, it just seems like that ball gets on Jacques Louis and surprises him. You just go down and make that catch with your hands. And as Pitt attempts this field goal, you've talked about Kessman so much tonight. It's a long one at 53 now.
Well, he's done it before. 3 for 3 last week, including a 54-yarder in the win against Duke. He's got 3 of the 4 longest field goals on the season in college football. This is well within his range. How about that? Alex Kessman does it again. And Pitt now leads by 10 with 4:25 to go. What a weapon.
You know what has happened tonight for Pitt is their head coach, Pat Narduzzi, has consistently believed in his players. He went for it on 4th and 1 from his own 11-yard line, and then he kicks a 53-yarder with 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in a 1-possession game. Believing in his players, that's the difference for Pitt right now.
6th career field goal make of 50 yards or more for Alex Kessman, the sophomore out of Clarkston, Michigan. He kicked a 55-yarder against Syracuse in their win earlier this season, a Heinz Field record, regardless of whether it's a college game or pro game. He has never, no one's going to argue that he has got a strong leg, no doubt about it. Bangs this one into the end zone. Reed's going to take a chance on the return to the 22. Well, Pitt poised now if they can hold on to go to 4-1 in the ACC Coastal. Coming into the night tied for 2nd with Virginia Tech, a half game behind Virginia. Virginia Tech has a tough one tomorrow against Boston College before going to Pitt next week, and all of a sudden that looks like a terrific matchup in the ACC Coastal.
I'm not going to get ahead of myself here. I mean, there's a lot of time left in this game. There's games left on Pitt's schedule, but I will say this. Clemson, who's in the Atlantic, great defensive line. Pitt's offensive line tonight has been incredibly impressive. Maybe counter some of that stuff.
Dubois on the catch on 1st down. He gets 5, so that clock is moving. Virginia only has 1 timeout remaining. They wasted a timeout early in this half on a review that shouldn't have been reviewed, but they asked for it and they were charged a timeout. And now spinning, trying to stay on his feet is Bryce Perkins. You know, you'll remember back in the early parts of this 2nd half, there was a replay review on a play that was whistled dead. Should not have been reviewed, but Virginia asked for the replay review. They were charged a timeout. Perkins on the play fake. Nuggets charged up from behind, and he is swung down inside the 15-yard line, and the crowd is understandably upset that he didn't get rid of the football. 5th sack tonight for the Pitt defense. It's Elijah Zeiss, the senior, making that sack.
And we talked about Zeiss early in this game, and we said you have to be aggressive. He was not blitzing there, but just sensed instinctually, Perkins is trying to get away. I'm going to go hunt, and that's exactly what Pitt has wanted to do all night against Bryce Perkins.
16-yard loss taken by Perkins. And Pitt calls a timeout. This is the touchdown by Hall that made it 7-0 opening series for the Pittsburgh Panthers. Virginia tied it up at 7. Terrell Jana with the reception. It was the Brown horse collar penalty that kept this Pitt drive alive. And it was a key drive for Pitt as Hall scored a touchdown to cap it. And there is the 3rd touchdown of the night for Darrin Hall, who's had an amazing evening. Over 200 yards rushing on 17 carries. And Bronco Mendenhall is obviously, I think, disappointed with the way this game is turning out.
Yeah, I mean, his team didn't play the way a Bronco Mendenhall team does. You know, really well coached, too many penalties, put the ball on the ground early, weren't good on 3rd down, and that's really hurt them in the second half.
Perkins able to get rid of it. Contact in the secondary. No flag this time intended for Zacchaeus. Damari Mathis on the coverage. And it's 4th down. Now there is a flag. Now this might be a celebration penalty. Pat Narduzzi asking for an explanation. Most likely going to be a celebration penalty here against Pitt.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 16 on Pittsburgh. 15-yard penalty. It will be 1st and 10, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's Damari Mathis with that unsportsmanlike penalty. But Pittsburgh's going to get it back. Ability to run out the clock here with 2:49.
That is number 16's first unsportsmanlike.
Awesome job of just staying on the back of Zacchaeus, and it's certainly some contact there. But I believe he plays the ball the right way. Times his jump perfectly, stayed on the back of Zacchaeus, and able to go make the play.
And now Pitt, which has put the Virginia offense in the freezer for a large portion of the second half, will run the clock. Timeout, Virginia. That's their final timeout.
Virginia.
Darrin Hall,
that is their
the
3rd and final timeout.
Ohio, powerful running back. Has been very good throughout the night. It's in our player spotlight, brought to us by Floor and Decor.
He's been the workload guy tonight, and he answered. And I'll tell you this, Clay, that Pitt offensive line, I'm not going to say it enough tonight, how well they played, especially in this second half, taking the game over. And listen, in football, there is nothing more debilitating in a way when you have an offensive line take over a football game. And Darrin Hall trusted his eyes, followed his fullback a bunch of times, George Aston. And this is a team that ran the ball for 240 yards on a defense that was a top 20 rush defense on the road.
Just 61 yards passing for Pitt, but they haven't needed the passing game. It's been the running game that's carried them. And you got to credit Kenny Pickett, too, the distributor, doing a great job managing this offense. Another big run for Hall. His night's not over. Nearly got to the house again. He's tripped up finally from behind inside the 10. That's a gain of 20 for Hall.
Hall with the vision again. Great cutback. And the offensive line for Pitt continues to battle. Continues to make blocks downfield. Hall's had a huge, huge night. And you mentioned Kenny Pickett. And one of the things we said early on in this game, don't turn the ball over. There was opportunity for him to get reckless with the football and in the weather, and even handing the ball off is difficult in that range. So for a kid who's really still a freshman, only his 9th start, Kenny Pickett deserves some credit for handling everything that was part of this game.
Now the play clock is going to expire.
There's no foul for delay game.
Gets timeout.
Timeout, Pittsburgh. 30
Smart here as they run out the clock. Well, Pittsburgh has a game now with Virginia Tech next week. It looks really big in the ACC Coastal as Pittsburgh, like we said before, will control its own destiny after tonight, provided they can finish this one out in the next minute and 52 seconds. Virginia Tech is still, of course, in that category of controlling its own destiny in this league. You see the schedule remaining. They've got a couple of trips on the road to Wake Forest and in Miami. Of course, Miami still ticked off about last year.
Well,
what Pitt did to
who's going to play quarterback for him? The back and forth. You know, Pitt's in a good place. They really are. And they're starting to hit their stride as a football team. We talked. They lost to UCF. They lost to Penn State. And they lost a very difficult game to Notre Dame. They've got an incredibly brutal schedule early on. And so that's big.
Big win on the road again for these Pitt Panthers under Pat Narduzzi. Meanwhile, Bronco Mendenhall and the Virginia Cavaliers had a big opportunity here tonight to expand their lead in the ACC Coastal and unable to get it done.
Well, like I said, uncharacteristic of this football team, but I'll tell you this, Clay, and I said this to you yesterday. I walked out of our meeting yesterday with Bronco Mendenhall, and I said, if I'm an ACC coach, certainly in the Coastal, I'm going, man, because that guy is detailed, he's deliberate, he's got a vision and execution, and Virginia is going to continue to build a very, very impactful program. But give credit to Pitt. One penalty in the second half for Pitt. One.
Yep.
That proves to be huge in this ballgame.
Gave them a little bit of life on that drive. They were able to finish the drive. 15 plays, 84 yards in 8 minutes and 40 seconds. And that was the one that, when they look back at the tape, will have decided this win for Pittsburgh on the road.
This game tonight was Pitt. Smash mouth run game, in-your-face defense, and that's exactly who Pat Narduzzi is, and that's exactly what he wants to get Pitt back to being.
Pitt's 5-4, 4-1 in the ACC. Virginia falls to 4-2 in the league, 6-3 overall. Pat Narduzzi and Bronco Mendenhall have great respect for one another and embrace at midfield. It is the Panthers coming away victorious, 23-13. And Darrin Hall with a monster game out of that Pitt backfield, 229 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. Coming up next on ESPN2, we're going to send you to Sports Center for Paul Carcaterra and Dan Orlovsky and our entire crew. I'm Clay Matvick saying so long from Charlottesville. Sports Center coming up now.